Soccer Federation announced that it has banned heading for youngsters under the age of 10. It's also limiting the amount of heading in practice games for youngsters aged 11 to 13. Our next guest suffered a career-ending concussion back in 2010. Former U.S. soccer goalkeeper Briana Scurry joins us now. Briana, it's an honor to have you on the program. Welcome.
Hey, Stuart, great to be back. Thank you.
Now, I am told that a lot of the concussions that may or may not result from soccer are the result of head banging when two people go up to challenge for the ball, to head for the ball, and they bang heads, as opposed to the impact of the ball on your head. There is a distinction, isn't there?
There is definitely a distinction, but that situation that you just referred to often occurs in a heading situation when a ball is in the air. So I think the ruling from U.S. Soccer that U10s don't head, I think that'll help prevent that situation from happening with that age group.
Am I right in saying that for all youngsters, 13 and above or 14 and above, absolutely no change in the rules whatsoever? You can head the ball, challenge for the ball, the whole game is still intact. Is that correct?
That is correct. For those age groups, they figured that the research has probably shown that the impact of heading for those age groups is a lot less than it is for 13 and under.
Do you think there's some response here on the part of the soccer authorities to legal challenges, the liability of the game and the sport for concussion injuries? In other words, are the lawyers pushing this move to restrict heading?
I believe that this ruling from U.S. Soccer is partially because of the lawsuit that was against them in terms of head injury, but I also have to say, Stuart, that U.S. Soccer is a huge organization that doesn't make changes lightly. So I have to believe that there was a lot more than just the lawsuit that came into their decision. A lot of the research and their medical teams and their doctors that they depend on for this information probably brought some very compelling evidence that this is a good thing to do, and they did it.
Now, back in my day, admittedly, that is a long, long time ago, but the ball was made of leather.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
When it got wet, it was like a medicine ball.
Yes, and if you headed a ball, I mean, we're talking some time ago now, you could really just pass out because the ball was so heavy. But nowadays, the ball is different. It's a lightweight ball. It gets rid of water, so it never becomes heavy. You're not happy with that?
Well, I have to say, Stuart, from some of the research I've seen, a ball hitting your head can hit you at between G-forces of 7 to 70. As you know, I was a goalkeeper, so I used to punt the ball very high in the air, and I can tell you my defenders and my attackers didn't want to get underneath that. So there is a lot of force that goes into a person's head when they head the ball, which is really difficult.
But the rest of the world is going to be a tad upset about this. They don't like Americans changing the rules of the world's greatest game, soccer. You understand that, right?
I do understand that, Stuart, but I have to say for my situation, it wasn't heading at all that affected me. And so what I'm also advocating, not only the different initiatives that U.S. Soccer has put forward, including a heading substitution, just for a head injury substitution, but also I think U.S. Soccer needs to look seriously at head protection. I'm working with a company called Unequal.com. They created an Unequal Halo, which I brought one with me for you to see right now. I showed it to you last time I was on your show,
you did.
And I think this is an important element that U.S. Soccer hasn't quite gotten around to, but I think it would be wonderful, in my opinion, if they commissioned a study to test headgear to see if that was something that they thought was useful.
Very interesting. Briana Scurry, thank you very much for bringing that to our attention. We appreciate it. Come back and see us, okay? Don't be such a stranger.
I would love to. Thank you. I'd love to.
I like soccer here, you know.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Briana.
Absolutely.